Hey guys, in this video we are going to go over page 11, variables on both sides. So go ahead and pause the video, get this in your table of contents, and then I'll give you the little half sheet to tape down on page 11. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Solving equations with variables in both sides. So the last couple of pages of notes, we've been talking about solving one-step equations, two-step equations, equations where we have multi-steps, where we have to use a distributive property. So now we're going to add one more step onto that. So notice that we have variables on both sides of the equation. So when a variable appears on both sides of the equation, we can use the addition property of equality or the subtraction property of equality to move the variable from one side to the other side. Doing so allows us to isolate the variable, or in other words, get the variable by itself. Because remember, we're trying to find the solution when x is by itself. What is it equal to? It's always going to be equal to our solution. So we're going to look at the steps to solve 4 times x plus 1 plus 1, and that's equal to negative 3x plus 3. So let's look at each step. So first step, we need to do the distributive property. Every time we're given a number on the outside of the parentheses, we have to multiply it by everything that's on the inside of the parentheses. So 4 times x gives me 4x. 4 times 1 gives me 4, and then notice, so I just bring down that positive 1 because it wasn't on the inside of the parentheses. Now I'm going to use the distributive property on this side of the equation. So negative 3 times x gives me negative 3x. Negative 3 times 3 gives me negative 9. So step 1, we're going to call that distributive property. All right. So from here, now it's just like some of the other examples that we've done on the other pages of notes. We're going to combine like terms. So whenever I combine like terms, I could do 4 plus 1 on this side because neither of those terms have an x with it. So notice we bring the 4x down. And then 4 plus 1 is where we get the 5 from. And then notice we bring the negative 3x down and the negative 9 down because we don't do anything with those. So now I want you to notice that on this side, we are going to move the 3x to the other side of the equation. And we do that by using the opposite. So we see a minus 3x, so we need to add 3x on both sides. So this would be step 3. Move all your variables to the left side. And combine like terms. So now we've got 4x plus 3x, and that's where we get the 7x from. And notice we just bring down the 5 in the next step. Over here, on this side of the equal sign, we have negative 3x plus 3x, which that equals 0. They cancel each other out. And we bring down the negative 9. Step 4, we need to move that 5 to the other side of the equation, and we do that by using the opposite operation. So we see plus 5, so we need to minus 5. We're going to move the constant terms. Constant terms have no variable to the right. Okay, so now we can combine like terms again. Notice we bring down the 7x, and then negative 9 minus 5, that's where I get the negative 14 from. And last step, anytime a number and a letter are side by side, we need to divide. So we're going to divide to solve for x. So we're going to divide by 7, and we're going to divide by 7. 14, negative 14 divided by 7 gives me a solution of x equals negative 2. So this is our answer. We did those 5 steps to get x equals negative 2. Now I want to go back, and just like we did in the other videos, I want to substitute that negative 2 back into our original equation. So we had 4 times negative 2 plus 1, and that's equal to negative 3 times negative 2 plus 3. So we do parentheses first. So negative 2 times 1, that gives me negative 1. So I'll bring down my 4, bring down my positive 1, bring down my equals negative 3, and then negative 2 plus 3 is positive 1. So after we do the parentheses, we move on to multiplication. So 4 times negative 1 gives me negative 4. Bring down my plus 1. Multiplication again. Negative 3 times 1 gives me negative 3. And the last step, I do addition. Negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3. And guess what? That's good because negative 3 does equal negative 3. Put a check because we know we did it correctly. So if you need to pause the video and get caught up, go ahead and do that now because we're about to look at one more example. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the next example. So example 2. Negative 2 times x plus 7 is equal to 4 times negative 3x plus 5 and then plus 6. So we're going to use the same 5 steps. So step 1, we needed to distribute. Anytime we have a number on the outside of the parentheses, we need to distribute it to everything on the inside of the parentheses. So we're going to start. Negative 2 times x gives me negative 2x. Then I have negative 2 times 7, which is negative 14. Okay, now we're to the other side of the equation. We have another number on the outside of the parentheses that we need to distribute to each term on the inside of the parentheses. So we're going to start by doing 4 times negative 3x, which gives us negative 12x. And then 4 times 5, which gives me a positive 20. And then bring down my plus 6 because I didn't do anything with it. Okay, that was step 1. Step 2, we combine like terms. So notice on the left side of the equation, negative 2x and negative 14 are not like terms. So I'm going to bring those down. We're not going to do anything with those in step 2. Now in step 2, on the other side of the equal sign, we actually do have 2 like terms that we can add together. So we'll bring down our negative 12 because he doesn't have any friends to combine with, but we can add 20 plus 6, which gives us 26. Okay, step 3. Move the variables to the left side. So I need to take this 12x and I need to do the opposite. So I'm going to add 12x onto both sides of the equation, just like this. Okay, I moved my variables over to the left. So negative 2x plus 12x gives me positive 10x. I'm going to bring down my minus 14 because I didn't do anything with it. Negative 12 plus 12, they cancel out, so we're not going to do anything with that. And then we'll bring down our 26. So if at any point we're going too fast, go ahead and pause the video and catch up. Step 4, move the constant term to the right. So my constant term is the term without the variable. My term without the variable is that negative 14, and we have to do the opposite and add 14 on both sides. So we'll bring down our 10x because we didn't do anything with it in this step. And that's equal to 26 plus 14. If you put that in the calculator, we get 40. And we've got one last step. So side by side, we need to divide by 10. Anytime we have a number in front of our variable, that's the one that we divide by. So we're going to do divide by 10 on both sides. And x is going to equal 40 divided by 10 is 4. So x is going to equal 4 for this example. And you can go back and you can check your solution just like we did in the last example. And here's what it would look like if we did check our solution. Everywhere there's an x in our original equation, we can substitute a 4, and notice we get that -2 does in fact equal -2, so we put a little check mark, we know we did it correctly. So go ahead and pause the video and get all of page 11 notes done, please.